Unsung Murder Ballads discusses topics of a disturbing nature.
And we're not going to hold back on the graphic details and disturbing content.
So we do not recommend our podcast for children under the age of 13.
And while we respect the victims and their families involved in these tragic cases,
we're also going to be critical of mistakes that are made during the investigations.
And we're going to use dark humor to express ourselves now and then.
So with that said, this podcast may not be for everyone.
And that's okay. We're glad you're here checking us out.
And if you've made it this far, welcome to the Unsung Murder Ballads family. And follow us on Instagram at Unsung Murder Ballads if you want to talk to us.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Unsung Murder Ballads. This is episode 142. I am Janus Dead.
I'm Jameson Dead.
And I'm Joyous Dead.
All right, so after taking a week off, we're back. So hope you didn't miss us for too long.
We're ready and refreshed here.
Yes.
Can always go back and listen to some old episodes. Maybe the ones where we weren't quite funny yet.
Right. Although I am going to I really do want to re-record some of those, but we'll see what happens. But someone listened to one and messaged me, and all I got was a text that said, someone that I know personally, and she said, that episode was awful. And I stopped and I'm staring at it and I was like, do you mean the way we presented it or the case itself? And she was like, the shit they did to that poor girl. And I was like, oh,
nope.
Okay. So
yep.
It was the Sylvia Likens episode.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that one's pretty fucking awful.
Yeah, that one's brutal. So, but initially I didn't know if she was like ridiculing us. I was like, fuck, all right. But yeah. So some of those ones we're not as good in, but hey, we figured it out. We're better now.
It's always a learning curve in the beginning.
Yes, it is. So tonight we have our next bite-sized murder. So we're going to let Jameson take it away with the first episode. First case, not
Let's
first
dive
episode.
right in here. Lauria Jane Bible was born on April 18th, 1983. And Ashley Freeman was born on December 29th, 1983.
Okay.
On December 29th, 1999, Lauria and Ashley of Welch, Oklahoma, spent the evening together celebrating Ashley's 16th birthday at a local pizzeria with Ashley's mother, Kathy. Lauria had received permission from her parents to spend the night at the Freeman house. Her father had told her that she needed to be home by noon the following day. Ashley left her parents' house saying, "I love you, Daddy," to her father. Just normal, going out and ready to have a good night, kind of goodbye.
Right, but that's the thing that like echoes in his head for the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no kidding. At approximately 5:30 a.m. on December 30th, 1999, a passing motorist called 911 reporting that the Freeman house was engulfed in flames.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Law enforcement determined that this was an act of arson.
Shit.
Inside of the home were the charred remains of Kathy, who was discovered lying on the floor of the bedroom, and she had been shot in the head.
So for someone who might have,
God.
I was going to say, for someone who started a fire to hide evidence, they didn't do a very good job.
No, not at all.
No, you got to be thorough with that fire. I think we've
we've learned
maybe
that.
learned that on some past episodes.
Yes, we have.
As no other remains were found, law enforcement determined that Ashley's father, Danny Freeman, had slain his wife and then disappeared with the two girls.
Okay, interesting theory.
God.
Lauria's car was parked in the Freeman's driveway with the keys still in the ignition.
Oh, so maybe she tried to get away.
Or maybe it's just one of those towns where they leave the keys in the ignition. It's a little weird.
Is that a thing that anyone's ever done?
Yes.
It is Oklahoma, so
I
know about like leaving your front door unlocked. Like I've heard of that, but leaving the keys in your ignition is cray-cray.
Okay, so little fun fact about me. When I was like 15 or so, I ran away from home for a little while with a friend of mine.
On brand?
And we were literally living in another friend's camper in their backyard, unbeknownst to her parents.
Amazing.
And we, at night, because we're not going to school, right? We have nothing better to do. We went out and we were breaking into cars. And we found a set of keys in the ignition, and we stole that car.
Oh, damn.
So yeah, these
Well-
things happened.
That's crazy. All right, well,
Yeah. To wrap up that little bit of a story, obviously I returned home eventually. Unfortunately, that car, I didn't really know how to drive, and I crashed it into a tree, but nobody was hurt. So
and did you get caught?
no, we did not. We left
Listener,
Ow.
if your car got stolen and
Yeah,
crashed
back
into
in
a tree,
back in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Yeah.
I have something to tell you.
Yeah, but at the same time,
Statute of limitations is up.
thank you. The statute of limitations is up.
I'm so sorry to tell you this.
But again, nobody got hurt, so whatever. We move on. All right, you may continue, Jameson.
The following day, on December 31st, 1999, Lauria's parents, Lorraine and Jay, returned to the scene, hoping to find anything that the police may have missed.
Oh
They had
God.
very, very little faith in the police department.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Okay.
if they feel the need to follow up on cops by going to an active crime scene, that's crazy.
Tells you something about that police department.
Yeah.
While walking around the extensive rubble, they discovered something that no one should find.
Of course they did.
They found a shape that looked like another body,
Oh no.
and they notified the police department.
Shut up.
Jesus Christ.
Shut up. God.
It was, in fact, a body, and it was determined to be Danny, the husband.
The one they thought
Oh.
ran off with the two girls. Of course.
Yes. Yep.
How did they miss a whole body? I mean, we know how. They're stupid, but
But it isn't like that one case where it was two barrels and they were like 300 yards
Oh my
apart in
God,
dense
I
wood.
remember that.
Oh,
Yep.
This to me
yes.
this is even worse, you know.
oh, not the barrels.
So Danny was shot execution style, and according to Lorraine, he had quote unquote no face.
No face
Ooh.
from the fire or no face from like whatever they put him through.
I'm not quite sure. It just that was her
Description.
recollection.
Okay.
He quote unquote had no face, so
Probably the
we
fire.
can run wild with that. Following the discovery, the crime scene was re-examined.
Good.
A little bit too late at that
I
point.
swear to God, if they find the bodies of the girls, I'm gonna be really pissed.
Yet no sign of Lauria or Ashley was found.
Gotcha.
In a 2001 profile on Unsolved Mysteries, it was mentioned that rumors had come about among locals that the Craig County Police had been feuding with the Freemans at that time over the death of their son Shane, who was shot by a deputy when he was trying to steal a car.
What the hell kind of Oklahoma town is this?
Apparently a very, very messed up one.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, one where the police are both overreaching and underreaching.
Right. They're overzealous in the wrong areas.
Right. And then underzealous and not finding a literal body that's right there.
Or maybe they were like, fuck them, we'll just leave them there and see how long before someone notices.
Just sweep them underneath the rug.
Literally.
While his death was ruled justifiable, the Freemans had threatened to file a wrongful death lawsuit. Danny's brother Dwayne claimed that Danny had confided in him that the deputies had threatened to intimidate him and, try to keep him quiet. In 2010, the Freeman family initiated court proceedings to have Ashley legally declared dead.
Which makes sense.
In the following decade, the disappearances of Lauria and Ashley, two convicted killers, Tommy Lynn Sells and Jeremy Jorks, confessed to murdering them, but subsequently, went back on their confessions.
As they do. Yep.
Yeah, they were probably pressured into confessing in exchange for something.
So Jeremy had claimed that he had murdered Ashley's parents as a favor for a friend over a drug debt. He then took the girls to Kansas, where he shot them and buried their bodies in an abandoned mine.
Or at least that's what he's saying he did.
Right, yep.
Okay.
This is all hearsay from him. Searches of the mine that he had identified, unfortunately, came up fruitless, which, we could have all seen that happening.
Yep.
And it was later admitted that he fabricated the entire story to get better food and better privileges in prison.
Yeah. When will police learn?
Never. In April 2018, it was reported that Ronnie Dean Busick, then aged 66, had been arrested and charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder in connection with the deaths of Lauria and the Freeman family.
Shit.
2 others, albeit both of them deceased, were also named as well.
So it took police that long to figure that out?
Apparently, they're either not trying or looking in the wrong areas, or
Well, it's just weird to have it that late.
Yeah, like I think it's like the new police force, like you know what I mean, like 100% turnover, and then finally someone's like, "Hey, look, this has been sitting right in front of us the whole time, like a body in a burned down house." Fucking morons.
So the other 2 deceased people that were named were Warren Phil Welch II, who died in 2007, and David Pennington, who died in 2015.
That's crazy that it took them that long to even put that together.
Yeah, and weird that they were still like working on it at that point.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't think it was still. I guarantee you it was new officers that came in and decided to go through cold cases.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
At least a dozen witnesses claimed that they heard all three men brag about raping and murdering Lorraine and Ashley, and that they had taken Polaroid photos of them.
Yeah,
Ooh.
let's brag about that. I mean, how cool are
fuck?
they? Yeah, losers.
Several witnesses alleged that the 3 men killed the Freemans over drug money, and that the girls were held captive in Welch's trailer for many days before being murdered.
Yeah, I mean that fits
It's a
the
weird
bill.
case where lots of people are claiming to have killed someone.
Yeah, but at the same time that fits the bill on what these assholes, like these type of assholes, typically do. Take them, abuse them, and then discard them. It's awful.
A female witness who been living with one of the guys for a short time after the disappearance provided a sworn affidavit that she heard conversations between the 3 men about disposing of the victims because they owed them money. So you got all kinds of different stories going on here.
Right. So the parents must have owed them money, and they took it out on the girls, or you know what I mean? It's weird.
There's that story, and then there's the story of they owe them directly, and just it seems like a cluster of all different kinds of he said, she said.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy that one, only because, I mean, yeah, sure, teenage girls could maybe purchase drugs and owe you money, but it just seems unlikely, especially where the penalty would be so high.
Right.
You know, it sounds to me, and just, you know, just me think, you know, shooting, you know, just whatever, spitballing here. It sounds more likely that they would be like, you know, you owe me money, until you pay that back, you have to do me these quote unquote favors. And then the perpetrators will get more out of that than they would just killing them. But hey,
yeah,
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not a criminal, so I don't know how they think. So
The witness also stated that Welch kept a briefcase containing the Polaroid photos that showed both girls bound and gagged with duct tape lying on a bed. Some of the photos even showed Welch lying next to the girls.
But these photos are just what someone claims they've seen.
Yes.
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
According to the affidavit, Welch, Pennington, and Busick claimed to have raped and tortured the girls before disposing of their remains in a mine in Pitcher, Oklahoma.
Wow, so mines are really popular places to dump bodies.
This is apparently out there.
Well, I mean, to be honest,
Well,
it's a good place to dump them if you think about it, especially if nobody's going into them.
Fair enough. Yeah. Law enforcement also stated that they believe the girls' remains could have, quote unquote, been dumped in a cellar that was later covered in concrete.
Problem is, without
Which
any
is
evidence, it's
scary.
all hearsay. It's all speculation.
Right, this is all just shit people are saying.
Yeah.
In a public address, the Bible family issued a statement in which they stated they were aware of the photographs, but their focus was on finding the girls, which I think makes perfect sense.
Well, right, because without the bodies, none of this makes any difference whatsoever.
Right. After his arrest, Busick told reporters that he wished to speak to the Bible family.
Hopefully they didn't grant that.
On April 26, 2018, Lauria's mother, Lorraine, confirmed that she did speak with Busick, but he denied any knowing of where her daughter's remains were.
What a dick.
Yeah, that sucks.
Busick pled guilty on July 15th, 2020, to being an accessory to the first-degree murder in the deaths of Danny and Kathy Freeman, the burning of their home near Welch, Oklahoma, and the abduction and slayings of the two girls.
So I guess technically this isn't unsolved, but it feels unsolved.
Right.
He admitted that he withheld information about the involvement of Welch and Pennington, so there may have been even more to that. He was sentenced to 15 years for the crime, 10 of which were to be served in jail, 5 of which were to be served on probation.
What? For
That's
murder?
For murdering 4 people and burning down a house?
That's fucked up.
It's not over. It's not over.
I was going to say, let's go to Oklahoma and commit some crimes. What?
For real.
I want you both to take a collective deep breath here.
Oh,
God.
God.
It's going to get a little rough. Here's the frustrating part. The Department of Corrections saw Busick as a quote-unquote level 4 prisoner. Now, if you don't know what that means he was a model prisoner. He did what he was told. He didn't cause any problems,
Yeah, and then now he's released.
Now, as we've heard many times on this podcast, things happen that shouldn't happen. And because of Busick's positive behavior, he was released just after serving 38 months of a 10-year sentence.
Wow. Okay. Not even 1/3 of his sentence.
Not even. Nope. Which is absurd.
Ridiculous. Someone murdered 4 people. That's insane.
This country's fucked.
It's so fucked.
But going back to what was said earlier, 10 years is absolutely nothing compared to the loss of all the lives.
Right, that's what we're saying. He killed 4 people. He got less than a year per person.
Yeah, that's insane.
In March 2025, a bill called Lauria and Ashley's Law was passed that added accessory to murder in the first or second degree to the list of crimes that will require an offender to serve at least 85% of their prison sentence before becoming eligible for parole.
Great
That
accessory.
sounds reasonable to me. I'm surprised that's not already how it works.
Right, and not only that, but why wasn't an actual convicted murderer not required to spend at least 85% of their time? It's weird.
Exactly.
It's fucking weird.
Bad shit, cray.
It's one of those things where I know we talk about how prisons these days are basically modern day slavery and these people are working for almost no wages. Someone like this deserves that.
Yeah, those that have been able to get away without this kind of, enforcement is insane.
Right. He should never have been let out. And I don't know. It just blows my mind. It blows my mind. Oh my God. Fucking Oklahoma.
Those convicted would not be able to earn any credit towards reducement of sentence below 85%.
Yeah. Again, that's too little too late, but that's always the case.
Yeah. But that's what happens is, just like with a restraining order.
Yeah.
It's just a piece of paper until somebody gets hurt or dies.
Right.
Technically, the case is solved, but unfortunately, the girls' remains have never been found.
Which is sad.
And that is the case of Lauria and Ashley.
All right, so Joyous, you are up next. And I believe your case was recommended to us by someone that we know personally. I don't know if she wants us to share her name or not, so I won't do so here. But it took us a while to get to this one, so we're sorry for that. But here we go. We're finally getting to it.
All right. Our second case here also takes place in Oklahoma. So that's another common theme we have going on in our cases today.
Weird. I'm wondering, I can't remember where mine take place. Yikes, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
3 Oklahoma cases. I doubt it, though. But anyway, continue.
Every fall since 1907, when the first hints of crisp autumn breeze are in the air, people from far and wide have ventured to the annual State Fair of Oklahoma. One September afternoon in 1981, friends Cinda Pallett and Charlotte Kinsey stepped onto the fairgrounds. Among the vendors, entertainers, and artists, the teens were eager to experience the fair for the first time on their own, without their parents.
Nice. Now, for the record, Cinda was a character's name on a Star Wars thing. Yeah.
That is a very Janus dead fun fact.
Yeah, the dumb Ewok movies that came out in the late 80s. They're like this little blonde girl was named Cinda. Anyway, random. There you go.
Anyway, on a very separate note, the girls would unfortunately never return home.
Of course not.
The horrific events surrounding their disappearance would haunt the state of Oklahoma every year, being remembered especially at the time of the fair.
That sucks.
Yeah. On September 26th, 1981, Charlotte June Kinsey and Cinda Leanne Pallett attended the Oklahoma State Fair for the first time. That year, they believed they were old enough to go to the fair without their parents.
And they probably were, which is the sad part.
In theory, yeah. I mean, they were both 13. So Charlotte was about 5 feet tall and had blonde hair. And Cinda was also 13, who was also about 5 feet tall but had dark hair.
Yeah. They're tiny, even for 13.
Yeah, they're small and yeah, on their own. In 1981, Charlotte's mother, Perla Peterson, said that Charlotte was very diligent about calling her parents anytime there was a change of plans.
Well, that's responsible. That's good.
Yeah. So the girls are at the fair, and at approximately 5 p.m., Charlotte calls home to tell her mother that she and Cinda were offered jobs at the fair to help a carnival worker unload stuffed animals from a truck.
Oh, God. So, again, interruption because I can't help it. When I was about 13 or 14 years old, there was a carnival near my house, and I was offered a job by one of the people who worked at the carnival.
Mm-hmm.
My job, because he had one of those ones where you throw darts at balloons to win like prizes. My job, he paid me to literally sit there and tie balloons. Like there was a little machine that blew them up, and I just had to tie the balloons. And I did that for I would do it for an hour, and then I could run off and be stupid in the carnival and come back and do it for an hour. And even looking back at that was kind of weird, you know?
Yeah.
But to have two girls be offered that is even creepier.
It is. But I'm sure they were just like, awesome, getting a job. This is awesome.
Making
Gonna
money.
get some spending money to go spend at the
carnival, yeah.
carnival.
Fucking crazy.
So Charlotte's mother agreed, but she did tell Charlotte to call her back around 9 p.m. to make sure they were safe. And Cinda's mother...
Slightly irresponsible. You'd think you'd want to meet the person.
Yeah, probably. Cinda's mother agreed as well and also told her daughter to call back and let her know that she was safe.
Crazy.
The girls were last seen at the fairgrounds around 5:30 p.m.
Ugh.
By 9 p.m., when the pair had yet to call home, their parents called the police department to report them missing.
I'm sure the police had very fun things to say to them about that.
Oh, I'm sure they did. In the days following, a dedicated task force was formed to assist with the case. Both uniformed and undercover officers patrolled the fairgrounds and the surrounding area looking for any signs of the girls. There were hundreds of thousands of people that needed to be interviewed because they essentially needed to ask everyone who was at the fair.
Oh,
and that
my God.
That included
witnesses from all them down.
Right? Witnesses from over 40 states that they had to locate, interview. Yeah, and determine if any of them had pertinent information.
Fucking Christ. I can't even fathom that. And what year is this?
Yeah, that's brutal.
What year is this?
This is 1981.
So it's not even like you can type it all into a computer and cross-reference it later.
It's like, how do you even figure that out?
It's like a stack of paper notes.
Yes.
Fuck.
Imagine being the person having to carry those, and if you tripped and fell, and they all just went everywhere.
What is this?
Great image.
Keystone Cops.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So in the meantime, family and friends hung flyers of the girls and hoping that anyone with information would come forward. But little did they know this was only going to be the very beginning.
Ugh, of course it is.
Then Assistant District Attorney Ray Elliott said, the case kind of took on a life of its own. It grew and grew. The deeper we dug into the weeds, the more obvious it became that this was going to be lots of work.
Yeah, I can see that.
When Ray got the case, he visited both of the girls' families. And to this day, Ray recalls how the Pallett family had left Cinda's room exactly the way it was the day she disappeared.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's also
Ray said she was working on some little crocheted Christmas decorations prior to her going to the fair.
oh,
Mrs. Pallett gave one of them to Ray and said, "This will be your inspiration."
which is cool, and that's something as an investigator I would certainly have held on to.
Yeah, it says he still has that decoration today.
It's crazy.
Following the two girls' disappearance, two teenage boys came forward and told the police they might have information of interest to the investigators.
Interesting.
They said a man had driven them, as well as the girls, to a truck stop off Interstate 40.
Driven the boys.
The boys and the girls.
Weird.
The man said that they would be meeting the truck with the stuffed animals.
Oh, that's
It
super
doesn't sound
sus.
right about that.
Yeah, super sus.
Yes, super sus. Yeah, never go to the secondary location.
Yeah, like if you get there and there's no stack of stuffed animals, walk away.
Right. Exactly. So like when they arrived there, the truck wasn't there. The man asked the boys to wait at the truck stop while he took the girls to go check on the truck.
No. No.
What the fuck?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Wow, these
And
kids are
and
way too
obviously,
trusting.
yeah, obviously neither the man or the girls ever returned.
Yeah.
So the boys were able to provide a clear description and a composite drawing of the man they got in the car with, as well as the girls.
Well, that's good. That's something.
It's something, and obviously the sketch went on the missing persons flyers. Ray Elliott said they described the car. We learned it was a rental car. So then we were able to determine that a car fitting that description was rented by Roy Russell Long.
Okay, good.
Roy Russell Long, a carny and a long-haul truck driver, had lived in Tuttle, Oklahoma, but was in Oklahoma City the day before the disappearances.
So he's a carny and a long distance truck driver.
Which
Wow.
is an interesting combination.
Well, in both jobs are very similar in a lot of ways. So
Always on the road.
and a lot of serial killers have turned out to be long distance driver types in some cases. So, okay.
Oh, interesting. I feel like we haven't talked about a ton of those.
We have a little bit with like people who travel good distances, like Bundy, for example, but we haven't covered ones that were like living out of their trucks, which they are on my list. So,
Yeah. Long later admitted to investigators that he visited the fair the same day the girls disappeared,
right.
and he had an uncanny resemblance to the police sketch.
Right. But I was going to say his alibi is that so did thousands and thousands of other people. So,
Exactly.
man.
Additionally, upon seeing the sketch, Long's ex-wife notified investigators that she thought that it was Long.
Oh. Well, yeah, that's a red
That's
flag.
nail in the coffin.
Right.
Yeah, we got some pretty smoking guns here.
Yeah, right?
And naturally, Long was no stranger to law enforcement.
Of course not. Let me get I'm going to guess that he was released for some stupid reason.
Oh, just you wait.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
By the time investigators wanted to question Long in relation to the disappearance of Charlotte and Cinda, he was serving time in the Wyoming State Penitentiary, having pled guilty to the kidnapping of a 16-year-old girl and a 12-year-old girl.
Oh my God.
Is
What?
that all? Fucking Christ.
Yep.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
God.
Yeah, Ray Elliott said, "We found out later, after he got here, he was watching the coverage in the TV room in the Wyoming State Penitentiary."
Of course he was. So, I mean, right there, that just reeks of guilt.
Insane. Long had an extensive history of sexual violence, specifically against young girls, including his own daughter.
Oh, come on.
Fucking Christ.
Oh, that's so nice.
Awful. Yeah. According to court documents, he was accused of molesting his daughter from the ages of about 3 to 4 years old until she was
Ew.
15.
Oh,
That poor thing.
Poor kid. That's just, oof, lifelong pain.
Yeah, and I mean, I hope she was adjusted enough to have enjoyed the rest of her life.
I hope so too. So she actually ended up assisting investigators in their case against her father.
Oh, good. Fuck him.
Oh, nice. Okay.
She testified that there would be multiple times when they'd be on cross-country trips and he would see young girls, and then he would give her money to go play the pinball machine or buy a soda, and he would use stuffed animals to lure the other girls to the truck.
Oh my God.
What the fuck?
And when she would come back, the girls would be gone.
Oh.
Does it say whether or not they were like ever found dead or just gone? To the girl's knowledge, I guess. So maybe we
Don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably, considering this is her retelling of it, they may have just been like ran away or went home, or maybe they weren't killed. You know what I mean?
Right, they just weren't there.
Right.
His daughter also told investigators that her father had said no female over the age of 13 would ever sexually satisfy him.
Oh.
He told his
Fucking
own
disgusting.
What?
He
his
said that to
own
his daughter.
daughter.
Oh my God.
His own
Fucking
daughter.
nasty. Well, this is a deeply nasty, different category of man.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Holy
cow.
fuck.
As investigators built their case against Long, they extradited him back to Oklahoma. Because, again, he was in Wyoming. A task force was headed by Ray Elliott, along with 3 police detectives and 2 civilian employees assisting. Since Long had to be extradited, they had some extra time to make sure their case was solid.
Well, that's good.
During their investigation, a fellow inmate in the Wyoming penitentiary testified that while in prison, Long had been watching the coverage on the case and said, "If you cut the bodies up small enough and stick them in a rat hole, they'll never be found."
What the actual fuck?
Wow.
Bad shit.
Small enough to fit in a rat hole.
Yep.
Wow.
So as it turns out, while he was serving time in California for yet another crime, he had learned a trade of being a meat cutter.
Oh.
Jesus Christ. I love it. You know, we always teach, that's the sad part. I think we've said it 100 times. If these assholes had just put the trades they learned to good use, they would have contributed to society.
Right.
Yeah, no kidding.
Ugh.
So, in addition to all of this testimony, the investigators also found a vast amount of evidence that pointed toward Long as the prime suspect, including the car that he had rented and been driving, fitting the description given to investigators. Upon examination, several scalp hairs found in the trunk came back as a match to Cinda.
Oh, wow.
There were also some blonde hairs recovered, but the DNA tests weren't able to prove that they belonged to the girls.
So the DNA test must have been done later then, because the 80s didn't really have much in the way of DNA?
Right. Well, it was probably just that because the DNA tests were so rudimentary, it wasn't a big enough sample or, whatever, that they weren't able to match it.
Okay.
But I bet if they had saved some of that hair that we could probably do it now.
Right, which, I mean, it may not matter. It sounds like they know who did it, so.
Exactly. In addition to the hairs found, luminol testing revealed bloodstains in the trunk of the car.
So they needed luminol for that, which means he cleaned the fuck out of that trunk.
Right, yeah.
Wow.
So, and this is, interestingly, this is the first case in Oklahoma where investigators used luminol.
Oh, cool.
Whoa. Wow.
Using all of this evidence, they were able to show that he had done this multiple times and possibly killed as many as 20 young girls.
Oh. Well, fuck. So maybe his daughter was aware of a bit more than we thought.
Right. So police were pretty sure they had the right man. The case seemed to be strong, with solid facts, insurmountable evidence, and convincing testimony.
I don't like the way you're saying that.
I'm sure you don't. So, of course, when the case was thrown out by the judge, after granting the defense's motion to dismiss the case, Elliott and his team were shocked.
What?
What? Huh?
The ruling stated that the prosecution picked him green, meaning that they had filed the case before they had enough evidence.
Oh, bullshit.
Which is, I truly do not get.
Yeah, that's weird.
Understandably, Ray Elliott and his team and the families were all devastated. And Ray described that moment as the lowest point in his career.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. So after having promised the Pallett family that he would convict Long, and then he failed to do so, he never promised another victim's family anything other than he would do the best he could.
Yeah, and I don't blame him for that.
Fortunately, that's the way it has to be.
Yeah.
The day after the case was dismissed, Long was being led out of the courtroom in handcuffs, and he leaned over to whisper to the families. And the family said that he whispered, "Only I know where the bodies are, and I'm not talking."
What the fuck?
Oh my God.
I can't imagine the family would make that up.
No, no.
So, wow. What a dick.
For everyone involved, there was no longer any doubt that they had the right guy, and it was just a matter of convincing a jury of that. Ray Elliott said, "I don't believe it's a cold case at all, except perhaps to the extent it's a cold case in that we still haven't recovered the bodies. And to this day, the girls' bodies have never been found."
Ugh.
Oh God.
Luckily, Long was already in prison,
Right.
and so he died of a heart attack in November 1993 while serving time still in the Wyoming State Penitentiary.
Ugh. Wow. He got off easy.
Yeah, he got
He
off
did. I
really
mean, he
cool.
got off the same that he would have got off anyway.
Agreed, but a heart attack is only painful for a short while.
Oh, true, true, true. I just mean that he was in prison already, so it wasn't going to change anything.
Right. I just wanted him to suffer for a long, long time.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Understandably, he's a possible suspect in several other unsolved cases. And now Ray Elliott is retired, and he said he doesn't feel as though he's ever had the closure he needed.
No, I don't think anyone is. Especially, again, this is the second case this episode with no bodies.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Elliott said, "I truly believe in my heart of hearts those girls' bodies are within 55 miles or less of the Oklahoma County Courthouse based on the evidence we have and what we were able to prove."
It just sucks that there's no way to search for him. And if this dude cut him up into as small of pieces as he said he did, there's no finding them at this point.
Right. So the case officially remains unsolved technically.
Right. Crazy.
And that is the case of Kinsey and Pallett.
That sucks. Holy shit.
Really sucks. I mean, glad he was in prison anyway and already caught for these other crimes, and we've seen shit where people get away with shit like that and then they go on to do it to more people. So
Right.
I guess I'm just glad.
Yeah, that he's locked up and he never got out after that, but it's unfortunate
Mhm.
that there may be as many as 20 people. That really sucks.
Awful, and we'll just never know.
And we know they're all young based on the shit his daughter said,
Mm-hmm.
which is fucking crazy. Ugh. Anyway. All right, so our final case, this one does not take place in Oklahoma, and
Aw.
it does, there are actual bodies. So this is the outlier here. So,
Incredible.
I know, right? I'm always dare to be different, right? Anyway, Morgan Dana Harrington was born on July 24th, 1989. On October 17th, 2009, then 20-year-old Morgan and 3 of her friends drove to the John Paul Jones Arena at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville for a Metallica concert. During the opening act's performance, Morgan told her friends that she needed to go to the bathroom, and she went to find the restroom. For some unknown reason, she mysteriously left the arena in search of said restroom.
What the heck?
It's really weird. And there were apparently 18 different female restrooms provided inside the secured arena.
That's insane.
Weird.
Right.
Something's going on.
So she left, but she was told there was a no return on exit policy that was being enforced. And she left anyway. So when she didn't return, her friends called her cell phone at about 8:48 p.m. and she told them that she was locked out of the arena because of that policy and said that she would find her own way home and they shouldn't worry. Morgan was last seen around 9:30 p.m. hitchhiking on a nearby bridge.
What
Oh.
the heck?
Weird, right? So
yeah.
there were also 2 witnesses who claimed to have seen her with 3 men after she left the arena.
Wait, weird. It's like she's at an arena. In theory, there should be taxis right outside.
I mean, I don't know what this area looks like, but agreed, there should have been all sorts of stuff. I know this is pre-Uber and Lyft and things like that, but you're also near a college. There should have been all sorts of things going on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Morgan's purse containing her ID and cell phone with the battery removed was discovered in an RV lot at the University of Virginia's Lanigan Athletic Field after her disappearance. Her remains were discovered by a farmer over 3 months later on January 26, 2010, about 10 miles from the arena in a remote 742-acre Anchorage farm more than 1.5 miles from the road. So whoever put her there knew how to put her there. It's not like you just randomly dumped her out the side of the car. Like, she didn't accidentally end up
That was very
there.
purposeful.
Although investigators did not release information about her death, her parents confirmed that they had been very violent and that her bones had been broken. Which is weird that the parents are telling the press this. Now, her mother also later confirmed that her daughter had been raped before she had been killed.
This is coming from the parents, not the police?
Correct.
This is weird.
The whole thing, this is a weird case, yes. In April of 2010, forensics test confirmed that a Pantera t-shirt, which had been found in November of 2009 outside an apartment building about 1.5 miles away from the arena, was the shirt that Morgan had been wearing the night she went missing. So her clothes are being found in one area and her body in a completely different area.
Oh.
That's not good.
Police also determined a forensic link between Morgan's murder and an abduction and sexual assault in Fairfax from September of 2005. Now, Fairfax is 100 miles away from Charlottesville and about a 2.5-hour drive. They also believe that the killer was familiar with the area of where Morgan's body was found. Obviously, we've discussed that. And the case achieved such widespread national attention that the Virginia General Assembly honored the murdered student with a special resolution. Now, the killing provoked fears, and that was expressed by her parents in many meetings with the media, including national TV broadcasts that a serial killer might be on the loose in Virginia. Now, DNA testing was later used to tie her death to that 2005 attempted abduction in Fairfax. Crime Stoppers offered a $100,000 reward, and Metallica added an additional $50,000 to that reward for any information leading to a conviction.
Wow.
That's pretty fucking cool of the band, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Now, her parents continued to appear at numerous special events, including the University of Virginia's annual Take Back the Night rally, and urged UVA administrators to work towards a safer campus. In September of 2014, Morgan's case was linked to the murder of Hannah Graham in Charlottesville, Virginia, through forensic evidence pertaining to a man named Jesse Matthew, 32 years old, and he was the main suspect in these cases.
Oh, shit.
Now, Hannah Elizabeth Graham was born on February 25th, 1996. She was an 18-year-old British-born American student at the University of Virginia who went missing on September 13th, 2014. She was last seen in the early morning that day at the downtown mall in Charlottesville. Hannah's friends last heard from her via a text message at about 1:20 a.m. on September 13th, 2014, after she told them she was on her way to a party but had lost her way. She had attended another party and then she disappeared. According to surveillance footage and witness testimony, among the last places Hannah was seen was a place called the Tempo Restaurant with Matthew.
Oh.
A witness also said that Matthew was seen in the restaurant holding her arm, and she looked really drunk.
Oof.
The last witness to see Hannah alive says that she was with a man who did not look friendly.
Oof.
Yeah. As Hannah was standing...
Yeah, I'm that person who anytime I see anything like that, I am starting a conversation. And I have annoyed many people like that, but I don't give a shit.
And you should not give a shit. I agree with you.
Oh, I've pissed so many people. Oh, what do you think you think I'm some sort of predator? I don't give a shit, dude. Your girl looks drunk and I'm going to check in with her.
Yeah, and as a restaurant manager, I do that all the time. All the time.
It's important work. Sometimes It's important to be annoying.
Exactly. As Hannah was standing by a vehicle identified to be Matthew's, the witness said he heard her say, quote, "I'm not getting in that car with you," unquote.
Oof.
On September 20th, a volunteer search for Hannah took place throughout Charlottesville. Over 1,000 volunteers were reported to have been involved in the search. On September 25th, Charlottesville Police Chief Timothy Longo said he believed that Hannah was either in Charlottesville or one of the surrounding 9 counties and asked property owners to search for her on their land.
Holy crap.
Which is crazy, to basically publicly say we think she's dead and she might be somewhere on your property. But considering the body of Morgan and where that was discovered, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's starting to look like a pattern.
The Department of Emergency Management organized 2-person search teams in the search for Hannah and estimated that as of September 26th, those crews spent 44 hours in the field since the volunteer search began. On October 18th, 2014, human remains were found at an abandoned property in Albemarle County by searchers for the Chesterfield County Sheriff's Office. At a press conference later that day, Chief Longo stated that the remains had not been positively identified as Hannah. However, authorities informed Hannah's parents of the discovery. The remains were sent to the Chief Medical Examiner's office in Richmond for identification, and on October 24th, the remains were positively identified as Hannah. That same day, Hannah's parents went to visit the property where her body had been found, which is weird but strong of them at the same time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's really brave.
Yeah.
It's horrifying.
I don't know that I would want to go there myself, but after Hannah's remains were discovered and identified, students at UVA erected a memorial on the grounds in her honor. On November 18th, the Albemarle County Police Department reversed course, releasing that Hannah had died of homicide. So initially they were saying they weren't sure what caused her death. On September 19th, the local police identified a man they described as a person of interest whom they saw on surveillance cameras leaving the bar with Hannah. And the police concluded that Hannah may have gotten into a car with him. And we've already sort of covered that, but the police are finally catching up. So they went and searched this man's car and his apartment, but they had declined to arrest or identify him at this point. And then finally they identified him as a person of interest, and of course that was Jesse Matthew. And in an effort to make contact with him for questioning, because they couldn't reach him for whatever reason. So they go back, right. So they go back and they search his apartment on September 22nd. And during the search, they took items of clothing from his apartment, but didn't elaborate further on the importance of these items. Now, they described the searches as a major break in the case and offered a $100,000 reward for information leading to Hannah's, any information relating to her disappearance. And on September 21st, they issued an arrest warrant for reckless driving on Jesse Matthew.
So they're just making shit up so they can steal him.
Yeah, they just trying to keep him in so that he can't go anywhere. And then on September 23rd, Longo announced that Matthew had been charged with abduction with intent to defile, which is...
That's an interesting charge.
Yeah, that one's weird. So, yeah, an intent to defile. Sure. I kind of weird.
Sure.
Yeah, like we think he was going to rape her. So here's your charge.
Right. How do you charge someone with intention?
Right. I agree. Like, could you imagine that's like every guy at a bar talking to a woman?
Right. You could.
You're looking at her too long.
Provable thing, and also like it's not a crime to want to do something. Unfortunately,
yeah, exactly. It's fucked up.
We all want to do things that are illegal sometimes. It doesn't mean it's a crime.
Agreed. Intent to defile. That one. I wonder if anyone's ever officially been convicted of that.
Probably in the oldie times.
Yeah, probably. So on September 29th, 2014, it was reported that forensic evidence taken from the investigation into the murder of Morgan Harrington in 2009 matched evidence taken from Jesse Matthew. So this is the moment they finally connect the two together. Now, sources close to the Hannah investigation added that Morgan interacted with Matthew on the night she disappeared. Hannah's remains were found about 5 miles from the location where Morgan's remains were discovered. And on October 20th, 2014, Jesse Matthew was indicted in the 2005 abduction we had talked about earlier in Fairfax City, Virginia. Over a decade earlier, Matthew was twice accused of sexual assault at 2 separate Virginia colleges.
Oh my God.
Liberty University in Lynchburg and Christopher Newport University in Newport News, and each time he left the school immediately after each allegation.
Of course.
The reported assaults occurred within an 11-month period of each other, and police investigated each report, but in both cases, they didn't bring any criminal charges against him. So I'm going to jump ahead a little to time warp to Matthew's charges regarding these 2005 assaults.
There we go.
On October 20th, 2014, Matthew was indicted on charge of attempted murder, object sexual penetration, and abduction with the intent to defile from the incident that occurred in Fairfax. So, another weird charge. Object sexual penetration. Not sodomy, which I think is normally the case, right?
Maybe it's just like based on like a state. I don't know. Who knows?
It's a weird one. And then on November 14th, 2014, Matthew pled not guilty to the charges, and a trial was set to begin on March 9th, 2015. However, on June 10th, Matthew abruptly entered an Alford plea and was convicted on all charges. Now, for those who don't know or don't remember, an Alford plea is when someone claims that they're not guilty, but the evidence is enough to convict them, so they take the punishment without actually admitting any guilt.
Interesting. I've never heard of that one before.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's rare. We actually did it. We covered it one case once here. The Peterson case where his wife fell down the stairs and he was convicted.
Oh.
Yeah.
Remember that? Yep.
So on October 2nd, 2015, Matthew was sentenced to 3 life terms for that Fairfax case.
Wow.
Which is
Okay,
crazy.
Not 10 years, right?
Yeah, not 10 years for murder. 3 life terms for attempted abduction, intent to defile. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's so inconsistent.
Yeah, very much so. On September 15th, 2015, Jesse Matthew was formally charged with the first-degree murder and abduction with intent to defile in the murder of Morgan Harrington. The trial date was originally set for October 17th, 2016, and moved back to October 24th, 2016, because October 17th was the anniversary of Morgan's disappearance, and they did not want to link the two.
Yeah, that's a good move.
Yeah, that's a good call. On March 2nd, 2016, after Matthew pled guilty to the 2014 murder of Hannah Graham and the 2009 murder of Morgan Harrington, a judge sentenced him to 4 consecutive life sentences. This guy is literally serving 7 life sentences.
That's
crazy. He's staying in there.
Yeah, he's never getting out. In fact, his body has to stay there 6 more lifetimes after.
Can you imagine if they did that?
I love it.
They just kept the body.
I love the concept. I think we should. Definitely something we should do. So under the plea agreement terms, Matthew gives up his right to appeal and would not be eligible for geriatric release, which is another thing I didn't realize was a thing.
I didn't know that either. Yeah.
You're too old to be in prison? Like, how does that work?
Right. So
you're so old that they're like, you can't really like
hurt anybody. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think the some of the Manson family killers tried to get out, tried to get released for that, but I could be wrong. So it was reported on May 21st, 2019 by various local news outlets that Matthew was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. Good. Fuck you, right?
That's a painful one. That one sucks.
Yep. He was transferred from the Red Onion State Prison in Wise County, Virginia, to Sussex State Prison in Waverly for cancer treatment, where he still resides to this day.
Holy crap. Okay.
Yeah. On July 7th, 2021, Matthew was named in a class action lawsuit against Liberty University, alleging that he had sexually assaulted a 15-year-old girl while there. For the record,
Whoa.
yeah, for the record, Liberty University has had numerous complaints from at least 12 victims of sexual assault that were actually threatened by the college itself.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Holy hell.
One of the 12 Jane Does that filed a lawsuit against the school was threatened with filing a false report and was made to ride in a police car with her alleged attacker and
Awful.
and questioned without food or water for 8 hours.
Isn't that illegal?
All while those supposedly there to protect students failed to properly investigate her alleged attacker.
Fucked up.
That's not okay.
We could do a whole episode on this college alone, but I wanted to wrap it up on that because at this point we know this guy's never getting out of prison. He's probably going to die of colon cancer, but this is still actively going on against this school. So
good God.
If any listeners are so inclined, look it up again, Liberty University, and there are 12 Jane Doe victims that are accusing the school of trying to shut them up with, they're voicing out about their sexual assaults. Fucking crazy.
I've heard of this because this university is kind of notorious for being really shitty.
Really? I'd never heard of them prior to seeing them here.
Yeah. It's like a deeply evangelical Christian university, and so it is founded in a lot of sort of like traditional beliefs that makes it such that I'm not surprised things like sexual assault are being handled badly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they obviously don't want to tarnish their reputation, even though that's happening now anyway.
Yep.
So yeah, that is the case of Morgan Harrington and Hannah Graham. So yeah, this was a crazy bite size because we each did 2 victims, but mine was actually 2 separate cases where yours were like together. So mine is definitely the outlier. So that was weird.
Yeah.
Got to plan that better next time. So thank you everyone for joining us. Once again, I am Janus Dead.
I'm Jameson Dead.
And I'm Joyous Dead.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye.